Welcome back to NBA Teammate Beefs. This is CT signing in. In Volume 2, the Cleveland Cavaliers' Big Three took center stage for a retrospective on the sacrifices and scandals that enveloped Kevin Love and Kyrie as LeBron James teammates. This iteration will feature Kyrie Irving's mentor, Kobe Bryant, who finds himself in the limelight for an early 2010s feud with Dwight Howard. While this war of words wouldn't quite reach the level of intensity we witnessed from Kobe and Shaq a decade prior, it provided the perfect contrast between one of the hardest workers to ever step foot on the hardwood with one of the biggest personalities and jokers to rock the purple and gold. A partnership that should have resulted in at least a few deep playoff runs was sadly cut short before it barely started. Now it's time to look back on why. This is Volume 3 of NBA Teammate Beefs. Kobe Bryant versus Dwight Howard.
Ain't shit to me, it's a walk in the park. Y'all too smart, can't talk from the heart. I got sauce and it's all for the charts.
He dunked on me. That's when I realized I was still a rookie. I tried to just stand there. I was thinking he was gonna shoot a jump shot. He came down the lane and dunked it so hard, and it was just like, boom! And I don't remember hearing nothing else but boom, and then I heard, oh, wow.
And of course, no lead is safe against the Lakers because of this man, Kobe Bryant, can take over.
Kobe with a spectacular.
And he posterizes Dwight Howard.
This would be the first encounter between a young talented center and an established superstar. Dwight Howard was drafted by the Orlando Magic with the first overall pick in the 2004 NBA draft, straight out of high school. Blessed with top-notch athleticism, Howard was a two-way freak of nature who was ready to go pro during a time when big men were the hottest commodity around. The youthful Howard lived up to the hype of his high selection, improving his per-game averages in each consecutive season to start his career, while leading the Magic to the playoffs in the process. He also won a dunk contest dressed as Superman. The cameras would show the reaction of a spectating Kobe Bryant, who was visibly impressed with Howard's performance. Kobe Bryant, we know him. Multiple championships, 81 points, and if he wasn't playing in a game, could usually be located in the closest gym, perfecting his craft. After seeing his former teammate Shaq win a fourth ring before he did, and rub it in his face during a 2008 freestyle, the Black Mamba was out for blood.
To me, now I can't breathe him. Kobe on my ass taste. Everybody, Kobe on my ass taste. Yeah, you couldn't do it without me. Kobe, you couldn't do it without me. Kobe, you can't do it without me. Everybody, Kobe, tell me how my ass tastes. Yeah, you can't.
Bryant and Howard had their first taste of playing together on the 2008 Redeem Team Olympic squad, but Bryant's respect for the big man really formed after the 2009 NBA Finals collision. While Orlando only managed to win one game, Howard individually was unstoppable, like his Game 4 defensive domination, where he put up 9 blocks on the night, proving that he deserved the first of his 3 Defensive Player of the Year awards, in addition to staking his claim as the best center in basketball. Kobe won his 5th ring a year later, but the entire league was at the mercy of the Miami Heat when LeBron James and Chris Bosh joined forces with Dwayne Wade a month later. And after getting swept by the Dallas Mavericks before even getting a crack at Miami, the Lakers needed to reload so they could put their superstar in position to compete for the 6th title that he was desperately yearning for. While we're all familiar with the vetoed CP3 to the Lakers trade, Howard was also in the Lakers' plans as early as 2011. He was unhappy in Orlando, requested a trade, and didn't get along with head coach Stan Van Gundy, which led to an awkward interaction of Howard crashing Van Gundy's interview as he was asked about Howard trying to get him fired. Once the 2011-2012 season concluded, Howard would get his wish in a wild 4-team trade that sent him to the Lakers, Andrew Bynum to the 76ers, and Andre Iguodala to the Nuggets, while the Magic basically received a slew of veterans and draft picks that either turned out to be busts or were traded away before and after the draft, like De'Aaron Fox and Nikola Vucevic. Along with snagging Steve Nash in a sign-and-trade from Phoenix, the Lakers now had a core of Nash, Kobe Bryant, Metta World Peace, Pau Gasol, and Dwight Howard. A lot of people act like this Lakers team never happened or simply forgot it existed since they weren't together for long, but they were picked by many pundits as the biggest threat to the Miami Heat coming into the 2012-2013 season. Meta World Peace crazy ass even weighed the possibility that they could break the Bulls' 72-win record, generating more hype that again the media was buying into. Despite the lofty expectations, the Lakers stumbled out of the gate, beginning with the blowout loss on opening night in their rematch against the Mavericks. Through the first half of the regular season, the Purple and Gold would compile a record of 17 wins and 24 losses. Why did this occur, you ask? Well, in only their second game of the season, Steve Nash suffered a non-displaced leg fracture after colliding with Damian Lillard. This would end up sidelining the point guard for almost 2 months longer than his initial recovery timetable. After head coach Mike Brown was fired after just 5 games, he was replaced by Mike D'Antoni. Pau Gasol struggled to find his fit in this new offense and unquestionably had the worst season of his career as a starter in terms of both stats and games missed due to uncharacteristic injuries. Dwight Howard managed to play in almost every game, but coming off of back surgery, he was far from 100%, and therefore his output was diminished in comparison to his Orlando Magic tenure. This meant Kobe was free to do what he does best, hog the ball and jack up shots. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way either. I actually think the 2012-2013 season was his most underrated campaign, considering he was in his mid-30s but managed to keep the Lakers afloat primarily by himself. The tension between Bryant and Howard began to spark as 2012 came to a close. After a New Year's Day loss to the 76ers that saw Dwight only put up 7 points on 1 of 7 shooting, Howard allegedly had to be restrained from fighting Bryant after he called the center soft, echoing the same sentiments as his former partner in crime, Shaquille O'Neal. 12 and 24 playfully responded to the rumors of a rumble in the Staples Center jungle by sharing a photo that featured them pretending to square up, with Mike D'Antoni acting as the referee. Despite this very public denial of discord, the drama kept coming. A couple weeks after the January 1st altercation, Dwight demanded a bigger role in the offense after being limited to just 5 shots in a loss to the Chicago Bulls. Following these comments, a team meeting was held where Kobe directly questioned Dwight on whether or not he enjoyed playing with him. Mike D'Antoni and Steve Nash also stressed to Howard the importance of playing team basketball instead of chasing individual accolades. Howard realized how immature his temper tantrum was and promised to bring it for the rest of the season, but was still vague when asked about his opinion on the Black Mamba. A few weeks later, the big man decided to take time off after suffering a shoulder injury. This led to Kobe telling Dwight to toughen up and play through the pain because it didn't appear to be that serious of an ailment, adding that the 3-time Defensive Player of the Year cared way too much about what others think and he needed to keep his eyes on the prize, that being an NBA Finals appearance. Howard would matter-of-factly fire back by simply saying, "He's not a doctor." Steve Nash, who also had poor chemistry with Howard, would chime in to back up Kobe and tell Howard that everyone has to play through pain at some point. I suppose this is the polite Canadian way of calling someone a word that rhymes with wussy. As the team chemistry continued to deteriorate, the Lakers were already considering if they should part ways with number 12. When asked about his thoughts on the possible move, Kobe let it be known that he didn't really care if Howard stayed with the organization. Somehow in the midst of their bickering, the talent began to overpower the pettiness, and the Lake Show managed to turn the season around after the All-Star break by winning 20 of their next 28 games. But as soon as the squad began peaking, tragedy struck.
Since then, though, 0 for 6. As he has it, spinning, in trouble. Oh, and he's limping, he's hurting. Kobe's hurting. And I don't know if he's going to be able to continue.
With only 2 more games left in the regular season, Kobe Bryant would tear his Achilles, ruling him out for any possible playoff run. The heart and soul of the Lakers was missing, and they would get demolished in their first-round matchup with the San Antonio Spurs. The most infamous moment of this series was Dwight Howard purposely getting himself ejected in Game 4, as he saw his legacy and respect in NBA circles dwindling right before his very eyes. That's when Kobe would make a spontaneous courtside appearance to remind Lakers Nation that their beloved shooting guard would never quit on them like Dwight Howard just did. And as Dwight Howard entered free agency, the Lakers recruited him in typical Hollywood fashion with over-the-top public displays of affection. Kobe would make a short and concise pitch, promising to teach him how to be a champion if he was willing to stick around. I can just imagine Bryant putting on all 5 of his championship rings and flexing them in Howard's face to prove his point. However, the damage between them was too severe for number 12 as he signed with the Houston Rockets instead. Once Bryant returned from his Achilles tear in the 2013-2014 season, an opening night matchup between the Lakers and Rockets showed us that no love was lost between the superstars. Following a brief tussle for a rebound during garbage time, Bryant corralled Howard's space and forcefully tried to swipe the ball away from his grasp. Howard then swung his elbows in retaliation, causing a commotion between the two. They began jawing back and forth, with Kobe infamously calling Dwight soft, giving us one of the most legendary basketball gifs of all time. Howard had left a bad taste in the mouth of many players, fans, and media members due to the way that he abandoned Kobe so abruptly, in addition to never returning to his all-NBA caliber form, bouncing around to a few more teams in the process. As a result, he found himself becoming the laughingstock of the league and an easy target for everyone to harass. While some of the slander was funny, like a fan roasting him for getting benched and scoring only 4 points in a playoff game, other incidents, such as someone calling his mother a whore, went way too far.
Your mother's a whore!
That being said, Howard did little to repair his image, causing drama on the other teams that he played for. He couldn't get along with James Harden in Houston. His hypocritical team speeches about playing with more intensity led to the Atlanta Hawks screaming in jubilation when he was traded. The Charlotte Hornets roster simply did not like him, and his tenure with the Wizards was marred by him missing 90% of the season due to pain in his gluteus maximus, along with rumors of harassment and violent threats towards an ex-lover. Likewise, Kobe would also struggle with injuries and decide to hang it up in 2016. When asked about Howard again, he took a more diplomatic approach to explaining why their partnership never worked, saying, when he saw the reality of it, it made him uncomfortable, and it's very tough to be able to fight through that, to deal with that challenge. And I don't think he was willing to deal with that uncomfortable and combative nature. Dwight also shared the same sentiments, letting everyone know that they had left their beef on the basketball court and there was no more ill will. Real quick, imagine if that Chris Paul trade was never vetoed. CP3 and Kobe would have put Dwight through absolute hell, so he should probably be thankful that it never materialized. Anyways, as Howard was running out of chances in the league, it was reportedly Kobe who gave his approval to the Lakers front office for inking him to a 1-year prove-it deal. He even consulted with the late great Bryant when he was planning on what dunk to perform in his second dunk contest appearance. After Bryant's passing, Howard revealed that he cried himself to sleep after hearing the bad news, regretting that he never got the chance to tell Kobe how much he appreciated him. During the dunk contest, Howard paid homage to Kobe by channeling his 2008 Superman costume, but this time with a number 24 over his chest, publicly burying the hatchet. When the Lakers acquired Dwight Howard in the summer of 2012, many in the basketball world thought they were watching the passing of the torch. With Kobe Bryant exiting his prime, it seemed fitting for the shooting guard to end his career the same way it started, forming a dynamic duo with the best center in the league, like he had done with Shaq in the early 2000s. And while history would indeed repeat itself when Howard came to the La La Land, that repetition only reared its ugly head in regards to the toxicity that divided these two teammates, even after their separation. However, time heals all wounds, and these two were fortunately able to patch up their scabby rapport before the Black Mamba had to unleash any more of his venom. In October 2020, Howard would arguably deliver the most poetic tribute to the now deceased Kobe Bean Bryant, after defeating the Miami Heat in the NBA Finals, finally bringing the Los Angeles Lakers back to glory and capturing the championship that many had expected their partnership to produce almost a decade ago. Thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments down below whose side were you on, Kobe or Dwight? And tell me what other teammate beefs you would like to see me cover in the future. Also, please check out my NFL investigation video into the Deshaun Watson sexual assault allegations. I worked my butt off on this video, but also really enjoyed making it. Show me some love if you can, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe. This is CT, and I'm signing out.